So I am just kind of hopping on here a little out of sequence with a lot of our videos lately because I have like videos prepared to go on YouTube from like the last week, but I'm just kind of interrupting it here because this week was National Infertility Awareness Week. And I do not talk very much about infertility on this channel or in general, really. And it's not that it's not relevant, and it's not that it's not a real thing, or I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot more reasons to talk about it than there are reasons to not talk about it. I just don't talk about it very much. Ooh, it's windy. Hang on, let me see if there's a better place I can go. Okay, so I decided to just come into my room because it was getting a little windy outside. So I definitely think this is a topic that needs to be talked about more. Okay, I just adjusted some things with sound and hopefully I'm coming through on here a little better. Okay, for me, the hardest thing about infertility, I guess, would have to be feeling isolated, feeling very alone. And I know that, like, as far as statistics go, I'm in very good company. Or, I don't know if you want to call it good company, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of us out there. But it feels very isolating. And it feels very lonely. You feel very alone. You feel very different than all the other women. I think what's hard too for me is a lot of people think of my infertility as like a past problem, like something that used to be a problem for me, or that I used to struggle with, or that, you know, oh, you used to be infertile, but then like somehow now I'm not. When the reality is like, no, it's still just as much a problem as it always was. It's still a problem. It's still there. It didn't just like disappear or go away. So I think that makes it really hard to talk about, because I think maybe because the way it's received, almost like, I don't know, maybe like what I'm going through or what I'm feeling doesn't matter. But yeah, I would say for me the hardest part is feeling very alone. There have been things that I have done for me to help me cope with all the really big feelings around it. And I'm not saying that this is right for everybody or whatever. I'm just saying this is what I had to do. Like, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not. And I have not been for like over 4 years, I think now. And I do not miss it at all. Like, I don't ever like long to have it. I don't miss it. And a lot of that for me was like seeing pregnancy announcements or baby updates or all of that stuff. And I'm not saying like that you shouldn't post that stuff. Like, that's great. That's part of your life. Like, share what you want to share. That's your business. But for me, it was hard to see. It triggered me in ways that led me to feel very discontent, to fall into a sense of despair. And I know that might sound dramatic, but that's where it sent me. It sent me into a dark place and just feeling just huge amounts of anxiety and just feeling depressed and discontent. And I just think, like, if something like that is causing you to fall into these extremely negative feelings and to not see all the blessing in your life, I think it's time to, you know what I'm saying, like, cut it off and throw it away. And Facebook is not a necessity to life, and it left me feeling crummy. I even had a lot of boundaries in place with it. Like, I didn't allow myself on for more than 5 minutes in a day. And then I even put more strict boundaries where if I scrolled, I would look at the first 5 posts and that was it. And then I would get off. And that was all I allowed myself for the day. So, like, I mean, I put these boundaries in place, but I still would get off feeling just like I'd have this sick feeling in my stomach and just feel discontent and unhappy and sad and frustrated. I thought, this is not good for me. This isn't good for my emotional health, my mental health, my spiritual health. Like, it just wasn't healthy for me to constantly take into myself. And so I just was like, this is one of those cut it off and throw it away situations, and I gotta just let it go. And I just cold turkey got off, and that was it. and I've never gone back, and I don't regret that. And I'm not saying that's the solution for everybody, like, oh, if you do that, then you'll feel great about being infertile, because that's not true. At least it's not for me. But it does help me to see a lot more blessing in my life, and to see what the Lord has given me as a gift and not as a curse, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel good, and I think often we define good by how things feel in our life, when really goodness is defined by God. So I have to look at my situation and my life and what has come to me in life by the hand of the Lord. Like, nothing comes to us that hasn't first gone and been filtered through God's hand. What comes to us, He has allowed to come to us. And when I look at what the Lord has let come to me, I want to be able to look at the blessing in it. I want to be able to see the blessing in it. And sometimes I can't. But I know that for whatever reason, because God doesn't do things arbitrarily, so I know that for whatever reason, He sees this as good for me, that this is good. And it doesn't feel good. If I were in charge of what was good, I would say, well, this isn't good, because it does not feel good. But I have to trust that God is who He says He is, that He is the author of goodness, and that He has my best interest at heart. So I don't know if you know someone who is walking through the difficult journey of infertility, difficult journey that many of us don't walk out of. We come to another side where we are changed and we are different, but sometimes it just doesn't go away. Healing doesn't always come in the way we think it should. Sometimes I think, oh, if the Lord was going to heal me of infertility, that would mean I'm no longer infertile. And that has not been my case. The Lord has healed me in a lot of ways. He's healed my heart in so many ways, but He has never allowed me to become pregnant. So I am not ever going to be the one to say to someone who's walking through infertility at whatever stage, I'm never going to be the one to say, like, oh, it'll happen, because I had people say that to me and it didn't happen, and that's not always the answer. But I can say this, that if your hope is anchored in Christ, you will come out changed. You will find healing in the one who heals. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here just to say, I see you, I am you, and I really do understand what you're going through. If you're in the same place as me, or at a different point in the journey, I'm not sure where you are. Even for people who have never walked this personally, the chances of you knowing someone who's going through it is huge. I have done some other videos on my channel, and I'll throw them up in the cards, and I'll link them in the description box below. I have done a video on different ways, different things you can do to support a friend who's walking through infertility, and a video on like things that you probably should avoid saying to somebody who is in the midst of the struggle, or at any point really. So if you do know somebody who is going through infertility, those are helpful resources. I mean, maybe they won't be, like, don't have to watch them. I made those as a resource to maybe help people who are going through what I've gone through, because it's not easy. Like I said, it doesn't get easier, and it's still hard. I still have rough days. Sometimes it's rough moments or hours, sometimes weeks, not usually longer than that, but you know, ebbs and flows. But it is still hard, and I wish it was different. I would be lying if I said, like, oh, I'm so happy. I have never been privileged to see the whole big picture of why and what God's doing here. But in the moments I've seen glimpses, I have been grateful. I remember years ago, it had to have been 8 years ago maybe, I remember thinking, I want to be grateful for this. I want to be thankful for this, but right now I'm not. And so if I could say something to me 8 years ago, I would probably say, you will be. You will be grateful. And that's my story. I'm not saying that's anyone else's, that's my story. And it's still my story. And God's not done writing my story. well, I don't know. He's done writing it. I'm not done living it. There is more to come, but I really do feel like I need to talk about infertility more than I do, and I feel like I need to talk about it on this channel more than I have. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have, because I can cover some questions on here. Sometimes that's a little easier as far as like knowing what do people want to know, is just, you know, drop a question in the comments, or you can email me or private message me, whatever. If you have any questions, just contact me. I would love to do a little more with answering those on here. And I have found so much healing in my journey. My desire and hope is to help other people find that same healing and that same comfort that I have found. Even though the circumstance hasn't changed, I have changed for the better. So if you enjoyed this video at all, and I don't know, that may seem weird, like, oh, this was not a fun video, but you can still like it. So if you are interested in hearing more, like I said, please leave me a comment or contact me in some way. Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you want to be notified if we post more videos like this. I just want to encourage you to be an encouragement to others. Be kind with your words. And even though National Infertility Awareness Week is over, infertility is not. It is still a problem, and it's not going to go away. So take some time to reach out to somebody and let them know that you see them. You can share this video with them, or you can just share it generically. If anyone is encouraged by it, then it was worth it. So anyway, I hopped on here to just do that really quickly, and it ended up being a little longer than I thought. So I'm gonna get off here before it gets to be too long. But thank you for watching. Really, thank you for watching. If you watched till the end, I really appreciate it. It's not easy to talk about this stuff, and the fact that you stuck with me, it really means a lot. So thank you. Bye.